So we are officially recording, Chyrisse. So I just want to say thanks for obviously jumping on. We've just had the
Right.
one-to-one.
Yeah.
And why don't you just start by introducing yourself?
So my name's Chyrisse and I'm a Reiki coach from Cambridgeshire.
That's awesome. And obviously you've been in my program, you've had the full experience in my program, and now you've actually stayed in the continuation program, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Very grateful to have you on board, and it's exciting to have you experience and see all the new things that are coming out. But just talk me through what was going on in your life when you realized that something had to change. Like before we met, what was going on?
So I knew that I had to do something, but I wasn't sure what. I was aware that my brain probably wasn't working like everyone else's does. And I've been on and off medication from like probably 26. And I just was starting to struggle again. And I thought I'm either going to have to go back onto medication or I needed to do something. And obviously, I knew about coaching, I knew about courses. I did go to the doctors as well and get put on kind of a course for this kind of thing. But when I then did the course, I just realised it wasn't really what I was looking for because I realised it wasn't going to help me. It was more like chatting and just it was strange. It was something to do with the NHS, but it just wasn't really. I needed some tips and like things to help me learn to just to get better at life, really, like controlling my emotions. I was drinking probably a bit too much, that kind of thing. I just that all that stuff wasn't helping. I didn't have healthy coping mechanisms, things like that. So yeah, my life was just spiraling a little bit out of control. And the older I was getting, the worse it was becoming.
Mm. And how was
Stress and
ADHD?
everything.
No, thanks for sharing. And how was ADHD affecting like your life and your relationships and your like just life in general? How was the what were the ADHD struggles that you was like emotion wise? What were the emotions that you was battling with most?
So just kind of like living in chaos. Um, like living in chaos, but obviously on the outside I would look fine. I'd feel like it was just not keeping up with like normal things that I should be able to keep up with, really, I think. So that kind of stuff.
Keeping up
So
on
obviously you
right.
saw a picture of like my bedroom. Like I took a picture before I start, like before the course, and then after the course, once I started getting used to like the routines that I learned, just even doing the cleaning, how much better it looks. So even that, just then you can then find more stuff because your stuff is actually tidy and you're not exhausted spending all day on your day off like cleaning, because I've done these tips to like keep on top of things. Just even that.
So getting things done was a big deal for you, basically.
Yeah, getting things
Yeah.
done, like not leaving, like making myself even more stressed because I'm leaving things till the last minute because I'd be overwhelmed or exhausted. And then realizing then I've got, it would make me even worse because then I've got even more stuff to do. And then I'd be then become more stressed out because I know that I've got even more to do that I haven't done, which would then make it even harder to start.
Totally get that. And yeah, I mean, I remember when I spoke to you at the very beginning. Yeah, I remember like, yeah, getting things done was a big struggle for you. Your
Yeah.
mind was a bit all over the place. And I mean, you mentioned that you tried things with the NHS in the past and things like that. I mean, what made this different to what you've tried in the past?
Because it's kind of like action based. So it's like really clear with the stuff that I needed to do to like obviously make things improve better in my life. It's kind of like you said, if you do this, you know, you're going to get these results. So, and at first, when I first started doing them, couldn't really tell too much difference, but obviously I knew I needed to stick with it. But the longer that I did it for, the more I noticed small little bits just starting to come together a lot better.
Amazing. And it's
Yeah.
so good to see you. You've come a long way. I wanted to say that
Yeah.
you've come a long way. You've literally you've gone from chaos and struggling to get things done. And the conversations we're having now are you're already in such an incredible place, which is just so nice to see. You've got so much more control. Your
Yeah.
boundaries are much stronger because you struggle with a lot of boundaries as well. And there's a
And your self esteem as well, because when I first came, I literally felt, because of probably a lot of the stuff that I've gone through from childhood, school, and things like that, just I probably didn't have very good self esteem. So, and realizing how my brain works with that, when you say Ferrari brain, I've realized obviously my brain's actually quick,
yeah,
which is why it's important to get it right because of the overthinking, because the overthinking will literally destroy you and make you feel worse than ever. But actually, if you're overthinking in the right way and it's positive, you're just gonna feel much better about yourself.
Exactly that.
which just has a knock-on effect of everything else, like your confidence and everything.
100%. And
Yeah,
yeah, no, I totally get that. I mean, self-esteem is such a big deal. When you have sort of childhood traumas and, when you
yeah.
have traumas and ADHD combined, it's mental. It's really, really painful for the mind if you don't know how to handle it or you don't know at least what steps to take to get you out of that. You know what I mean?
Because you do become chaos because you're just trying to navigate it on your own and you don't really know what you're doing. So you're trying to fix problems and you're just picking the wrong things to fix the problems and they don't get fixed. That just causes more problems. And also then you're focusing on the wrong problems and it just ends up being, it's really hard to explain if you haven't experienced it yourself, but it's obviously you have, but it's
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to get some help from somebody that's been there before, that's been able to sort their own life out.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And, that's literally what I preach, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's so important. Sometimes, as children, we never question getting help when we're born. We just expect to be fed, we expect to have our nappies changed. We never question as a baby. But as you get
yeah,
older, our minds become more stubbornly independent, where we don't feel like we should be asking for help or leaning in for support. We feel like we can figure it out ourselves. And before you know it, 20 years has gone by and we're still struggling. It's just worse.
yeah.
And this is the ugly truth. I mean, how would you describe the way I've worked with you? How would you describe how maybe I've made you feel my support? How would you describe it?
Yeah, so I feel really supported all the time. So I feel like whenever I've got a question, I could just ask you straight away without me forgetting and then wait until another session because obviously we talk on the group, we talk on the WhatsApp. You know everything, which is good. Like, you just know so much stuff that nobody else would know if I was to ask them. So obviously that's helpful. And I think because you've been in those situations as well, it's just a lot easier to ask somebody that's gone through the same kind of stuff as what you're struggling with. And also, it's good if you see somebody that's gone through struggles and then they've come out the other side and they're feeling good. It gives you hope that you can get there too.
Yeah, totally agree. And this is one of the biggest things I'd say as a coach. I'd say an honest coach, and it might be sad to say, but I don't think it is. An honest coach has to have suffered in order to be a coach. For me to be
Yeah,
able to help you, I've literally been you, if that makes
yeah,
sense. I've gone through the pain. I was the king of suffering. And if you don't suffer, you can't be a coach and help someone in a field that you haven't experienced deeply yourself.
yeah.
One of the biggest things I want to drive home. And you're absolutely right, Chyrisse. You're absolutely spot on. And I mean, talk to me. What was one or two, like what top two? I'm going to put you on the spot now. Top two of the most powerful shifts or breakthroughs that you've had inside of the program. If you could say two of the most powerful breakthroughs or things in your mind, what were they?
So the sorting my stuff out in the morning straight away before,
Anything's done.
like where I've got my morning routine that I learn, the reasons why I'm doing certain things, how your different areas of your brain works and why you're doing certain techniques. I think like because in the morning, the first thing I just wake up in the morning and feel sick, just have really bad anxiety for literally no reason. So it was just my brain, like when you said the dopamine is lower in the like morning, kind of, or you feel more stressed, the cortisone's higher. So you wake up and you feel if you've got that and you've got ADHD, you can feel like more difficult in the morning. So having that, because obviously if I'm starting my day off already, as soon as I open my eyes and starting the day off bad, I mean, it's just going to have a knock-on effect all day then, isn't it? So whereas that morning routine is just, and learning about that's really helped just my mental health and anxiety. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, and I would say probably I'd say anxiety and
yeah,
Zan are probably the top two, I think, things that you struggled the most with. Obviously, yeah, there was a lot of things that you felt chaotic, out of control, but I think anxiety and getting things done were probably your two.
yeah. And that understanding that negative loop cycle, like how fast your
Yeah,
brain is working. So that understanding, like, the how you're feeling and how then you feel, then you do the actions from it and all that kind of stuff, understanding that negative loop cycle.
Yeah, 100.
you can understand how like when your emotions are so, when you're really happy you can feel amazing, but then when you're sad you can feel really rubbish, and those emotions are so up high and low. I feel like obviously you can understand that because of how your brain works. So literally just learning about those different parts of the brain, how you explain it, obviously that helps as well, because obviously it's a lot easier to navigate through life if you explain, if you understand why you are being a certain way. Just is a lot helpful.
100%. And yeah, you said it perfectly. Just having better understanding of how your mind works is something
Yeah.
off the battle. And talk to me, Chyrisse, how has this impacted your day-to-day life at like work, home, family? Like how is it, how do you feel today from where you was?
Yeah, I feel loads better. So just I feel a lot calmer. Don't feel like my, you know, that when you feel like you're just, your cup is just full, like with everything that's going on in life, and that you
Yeah.
can't take one more single thing, and that you just can't cope with any more problems. And obviously now I realise that problems are good because you can just solve them and it's fine. It's not something to be really stressed out every time you get a problem. And I was nearly like having a horrific meltdown.
Yeah.
Obviously that's no good for my health, is it? So um yeah, so obviously myself I feel a lot better, and I look a bit better as well. I don't look so knackered.
No, I literally said this to you today. You look fresh. You look fresh. You know, not that you look
Yeah, so
bad before, but you
I
look
feel
really
better.
fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously I'm still practicing a lot because my mindset is set to like a certain way. So like when how I naturally think, so I have to stop myself to like then remember like the process. Doesn't still all of it come naturally, but the morning thing does. So yeah, I feel better I feel better in myself.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it definitely shines through, and your energy is contagious. And I've always said, you know, since you began and got enrolled into the program a few months back, you've literally taken it with full commitment, with both hands, and you've just stuck to the plan. You've always let into me. You've always asked for support. You've never doubted. You've just been open-minded and been willing just to listen and learn. And that's all I ask. As long as I get
Yeah.
that commitment, you meet me halfway, I'll meet you the other half, and we'll go together and we'll take you where you need to go. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, there are sometimes people that are struggling in life so bad, a bit similar to how you were struggling when I first met you, and they were feeling chaotic, procrastinating, anxious, low self-esteem, childhood traumas, all of these struggles.
Mm,
Self-sabotage. They will sabotage their success and happiness by not allowing themselves to move forward. And
yeah,
I want to
definitely.
ask you a question. What would you say to someone who's maybe against the ropes or thinking about joining the program, but maybe keeps putting it off or second guessing?
I just think the sooner you can start, the better, because like if you want to improve your life, you've got to change something, which is like what we learn on the course. And the sooner you start doing something, the faster you're going to get to where you want to be. So that's why I would say definitely to go for it.
Amazing. And if you could summarize this journey, I don't know if this is even possible, but I'm going to just ask it. If you could summarize this journey in one sentence, what would it be?
Um,
I'm really putting you on the spot now, but what would it be? One sentence. So one summary. If someone said, give me one sentence on how your journey's been, like how you are
I would say like just getting better at life.
I
Does that
love,
make sense?
yeah, it does.
It's getting better at life because it's like all these little things that it's like you said, no one tells you how to be an adult, do they? Not really. So it's kind of like I don't know. It's just all these things that you struggle with that you know unless somebody can teach you these things, you don't like what you said. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So like with that, there was so much stuff on there. Obviously, that I read when you explained all the different bits of the course, there was so much that I thought, yeah, that's literally me. That's what I need. And then when you go into it to look at each bit properly, so much obviously to learn about each thing that obviously once you get all these things and put them together, it's just your life is just going to start becoming a lot more smoother than what it was. And like any improvement, I was happy with any little improvement. So obviously, because I've got big improvements, that's
Yeah.
really good.
Now, that's amazing. And obviously, I know I'm not going to go into the personal details, of course, but
Yeah.
I know that you had trauma and things that we sort of tapped into. And how did it feel to let go of that?
It felt really good, and I can see now why it's not really something I've ever like gone into, and a lot of the stuff I probably haven't even thought about since I was a kid. But also, it's allowed me to kind of like forgive myself, because when you actually look, because when it's happened to you, you don't really think too much about it. But then when you actually really think about it, you think, well, you can see how you've ended up making some of the choices that you've made in life that wasn't necessarily, your fault. You didn't get put where you got, you can't choose your parents and things like that. So
Yeah,
yeah, so it just makes you realise that, none of that stuff was your fault. Not that you think it was your fault anyway, but it's kind of like, just it's like drawing a line underneath it and then just letting go. And
yeah,
obviously it's just like it's a relief, isn't it? So it's kind of like, then you can kind of see like where you've gone wrong in life through some of the things that you've been through. So
100%.
once you've understood what's gone on, and then you can kind of like, it's a lot easier to then start making some changes.
100%, because I know that past traumas, and thank you for your just honesty there and just transparency. I know, and I'll put you. I know you don't know what I'm going to ask you, so I appreciate just being
Yeah,
honest. Yeah, past traumas is definitely that's why the first phase of my program. One of the first things I did with you is let go of past traumas, because I know how important it is before you
yeah.
to cut the chains of your past and let go, and I think that's so important. And on a final word, is there anything that is there anything else that you want people to know about my program or your journey or anything else that so imagine there's someone right now who's struggling in life just like you was. What would you tell that person? Not to me now, what would you say to that person? Like, what would be your final words before?
I would say kind of like, once you've done it and then you've learned it, you can have those skills for life. So it's like, if the sooner you do it, the better your life will start improving. So if you don't ever do anything, you're just going to be stuck in the same situation.
Yeah,
Yeah, once you've learned it, you've learned it. So that's it. Then you're going to carry those skills for the rest of your life. So it's going to make your work better, your you know family and friends situations better, and then obviously that's going to have a reflection and make you feel better, like your home life as well.
100%. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Time is the most valuable asset in the world.
Yeah,
Realize it until we look back. I did read something the other day that said you in 20 years' time would give everything that you've got, every possession, every bit of money in the bank to be where you are today.
yeah.
And that's so powerful and so true.
The
So
sooner just is the sooner you do it, the sooner your life will get better, and then you're going to just have a better life, which what everybody that's what everybody wants, isn't it?
100%. And you're absolutely right, Chyrisse.
Everyone wants to be, you don't want to wake up in the morning, it's just a struggle as soon as you've opened your
Yeah,
eyes.
just a daily battle.
And
Yeah, I know what you mean.
it's your own brain that's causing it. It's almost like your brain is like a mental prison, and you just can't escape from it. So it's like, the more work you do on yourself and that, the better you just feel.
100%. And Chyrisse, I just want to say thanks for obviously letting me ask you a few questions and putting you on the spot. Because like I said, I know you know what's going to come up. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm going to stop the recording now.
Yeah.